You are watching another episode of Shane Solomon Meets, brought to you by the Cornwall Channel. I'm your host, Shane Solomon, and today I'm meeting the wonderful Robert Salvoni. So he's back in the studio. It's a pleasure to welcome you back, Robert. Exciting times, because last year I went to this amazing event that you put on at your house. It's coming back again, isn't it?
It is, yeah. We weren't sure that it was going to be a one-off, but as it was such a success, and due to popular demand, it was a sellout last year, we've decided to run it again.
Now, I've got to overlay some clips right now of last year, because we've got a video, right?
Sure.
Let's just take a moment for the viewers to get themselves accustomed to what happened. Here we go. So how would you sum up the atmosphere at your opera?
Well, it was amazing. I think 80% of the people who came along to the event last year had never been to an opera before. It's in my blood. I'm Italian. I love opera. My wife loves opera. But we decided that we would share it with a few close friends and family. Ended up being 600 people over 3 nights, which was quite exceptional. And for those of you who are switching off as we're speaking, because we're talking about opera, please don't, because it was just such huge fun. We had youngsters there, people in their early 20s who'd never even considered going to anything like this and had just the time of their lives. It does help that there was a lot of food, a lot of drink, mainly Italian wines and beers, which was terrific, but also Tarquin's Gin had a tent there, Navas Tonic and various others. So that does kind of help people relax a little bit into the evening. But beautiful open air performance of Donizetti's Elixir of Love last year by Duchy Opera, which is a terrific local production company.
So good.
Really good, weren't they? Mm. And they brought in a number of absolutely first-rate, outstanding soloists. The great joy for me is it's a thing called opera buffa, which is funny opera, basically. So it's not kind of lots of wailing Wagnerian German foreign language opera. This is just great fun. It's in English. It's a great story. It's one up from pantomime.
Well, it was, for me, I was expecting all the first stuff you were saying about, to be honest, and I was very fortunate to go along last year. And a big thank you to Ocean BMW, actually, for the invitation. But it was just absolutely superb. And the atmosphere was just so good. Everyone was so friendly and such good spirits. It was very lucky with the weather, of course, very lucky with the weather. And the backdrop of where you are is just, I mean, what's the history of the property? I mean,
Yeah, so we're very lucky. We've lived at Park House now for 10, 11 years. It's a beautiful little Georgian country house just outside Truro with lovely gardens, huge quarter-acre walled garden. As I say, we're very privileged to kind of be the current owners of that property. And we really wanted to share it with, as I say, lots of friends and family, and we have lots of parties there. And this was probably the biggest party that we're ever likely to have, until this year, of course.
Indeed. Now, where can people get tickets? Because I've got these wonderful leaflets in front of me, which has a QR code, which I assume people can scan and go straight there. Yep. But I'll put a link to this anyway. But is it straight on the website?
It is. So parkhouseopera.com. Now, this year we're doing something a little different. Again, we're with Duchy Opera, which, by the way, is a registered charity. This is not a commercial venture on our part at all. We're absolutely supporting Duchy Opera. And if we get to break even, that's a bonus. But it's definitely a not-for-profit operation that we're running here. And this year, we're putting on, or rather Duchy Opera, are putting on The Gondoliers, which is, of course, Gilbert and Sullivan's favourite operetta. It's huge fun. It still carries on with that Italian theme. So, of course, that allows us to provide lots and lots of wonderful Italian food. Philly Way are coming along and doing an Italian feast night. I believe for the non-vegetarians, it's ossobuco, but there are obviously vegetarian options too. The amazing Ugo, the Cornish Italian, is bringing some of his, I think 500 of his tiramisu.
Yes, he's so good.
Award-winning, which I think he's been on your channel as well.
He has, yes.
So that's something to look forward to. Of course, we've got Old Chapel Cellars bringing along through. We've got a lovely Airstream bar in the wall garden, beautifully lit, bringing along a load of wonderful selection of Italian wines. Delighted that Tarquin's and Navas are there again with a gin and tonic tent, as well as wildlife botanicals. We've got, for those who are driving, alcohol-free bubbly with benefits, I think they call it.
Indeed, bubbles with benefits.
Bubbles
That's
with
lovely,
benefits,
Ellie,
exactly.
of course. Yeah.
So all local businesses. We're really promoting and supporting local businesses. We're hoping Espresso Cornwall will be there again. It was quite funny last year. He started out doing coffees. The lovely Andy doing coffees. It ended up as espresso martinis.
I knew you was
so it did kind of have that kind of feel to it. But as I say, the food and the drink is obviously part of it, but the
Indeed.
performance as well is just so exciting. And I think the gondoliers, it's just such a fun opera. We met the two professional gondoliers have come down. Sorry, they're not professional gondoliers. The professional singers who are taking the parts of the gondoliers came down to visit us a couple of weeks ago. Absolutely delightful young lads, really, really experienced, capable and professional singers singing alongside the chorus from Duchy Opera. So it's going to be huge fun.
It really is. And in fact, last time was such good fun that it attracted Bergerac there. It was good to see John Nettles, of
Indeed.
course, there in the audience as well, enjoying the opera.
Yeah.
So this is happening on the 20th, 22nd and 23rd of July.
It is.
Parkhouse, St Clement, Truro. Info and tickets at parkhouseopera.com. So make sure you check that out. Is there anything else you'd like to mention that I've not prompted you about, Robert?
Well, yeah. So I thought last year, when we put on, as I say, the Elixir of Love, one of the themes within the Elixir of Love is the amazing story of Tristan and Isolde, which people may have heard of. It's kind of an operatic kind of historic story. But it's a wonderful story. And what I didn't realise is that the story of Tristan and Isolde is set in the Forest of Moresk. And Tristan and Isolde escaped from King Mark of Cornwall in this incredible mythical forest. Right. Now, I thought it was mythical. It's not mythical. It's real. It is the forest around Truro. And so we're talking here about 1,000 years ago, two young lovers escaping from King Mark of Cornwall. She escaped on a ferry from Malpas, which is our local village,
Indeed, yeah.
on a ferry over to Brittany. So the story last year had a real connection with the physical space in which we delivered the opera. Now, I thought that was as good as it gets.
Yeah.
And so when someone said to me about a year ago, oh, you're putting on the gondoliers next year, you do know that there was a gondolier on the Tresillian River, don't you? I was incredulous. I didn't believe it. So as it's approached, I started researching it a little bit more, and it's actually the case. 50 years ago, from 1969 to 1972, an amazing chap called Guy Sanders brought a gondola across from Venice that he'd been plying his trade on in Venice for 5 years,
Right.
brought it, lived in St Clement with his amazing wife, Helena Sanders, and he actually ran a gondola service up and down the Truro River at 50p a pop. And there are literally hundreds of people in the Truro area who remember him. I know this. I was sitting in a cafe a couple of weeks ago talking to a friend of mine about this very story. And this old chap turned round with his coffee and he said, I remember that. I used to go for trips on that gondola 50 years ago. Isn't that an incredible story?
That is an incredible story, and I can't believe, this is a thing, I was just talking about this with James Staunton, who was in before you.
Yeah.
James Staunton from the brewery, and there's so many things in Cornwall you just don't know still, and that is incredible.
Well, I did the research.
Is there any photographs for this?
There are. I did the research. So if you go onto parkhouseopera.com
Okay.
and you click on the Cornish gondolier, you'll see a number of photographs that I've managed to source, as well as the rest of the story. I've actually found out where this gondola, which is a beautiful wedding gondola, beautifully ornate, where it actually is today, and I've spoken to the people who actually have got it. So I've done all of that research. Some amazing people
Where is
have helped
it,
me.
Robert?
It's back in Venice, believe it or not.
Right.
But I don't want too many spoilers, because go and read the story, because it will absolutely blow you away.
Okay. Wow, what a way to finish a podcast.
There we go.
That's remarkable.
Come and celebrate Guy Sanders' amazing gondola story come and watch the gondoliers at Parkhouse at the end of July. You'll have a time of your lives.
Well, I can assure you, you really will. I was there last year. I'm going to be there this year. So get your tickets. Click on the link somewhere around this video. Now, if you know anyone doing anything remarkable here in Cornwall, please let me know. Drop me an email, shane@cornwallchannel.co.uk. But on behalf of myself and Robert Salvoni, we'll see you next time.